This is America and the World is on location in the Kingdom of Morocco. It's a country of 36 million people in northern Africa, located on both the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. The people are warm and welcoming, the country is safe, and nobody complains about the weather. Morocco has it all: mountains, beaches, the desert, historic and famous cities such as Casablanca, Marrakesh, Fez, and Tangier, and the capital city, of course, Rabat. On this program, we'll take a look at the economy of Morocco and begin with a visit to Morocco's Minister of Industry and Trade. What drives the economy here in Morocco?
Well, I will give you two figures. Moroccan economy is built on investment,
Okay.
heavy investment, and on consumption. So consumption, household consumption, represent, for example, 60% of the GDP. And investment, 30% of the GDP, which is one of the highest figure in the world.
Wow. When you say Minister of Industry, what industry are we talking about?
We're talking about manufacturing globally and outsourcing. So manufacturing is now top exporter in Morocco, and automotive is the number one export sector in Morocco.
Is that true?
Sure.
Are the cars being built here?
Cars are being built here. We have a platform that builds 700,000 cars a year. 700,000 cars a year. Plans to ramp up very quickly to 1 million cars a year, and integrated to 60%. That means we are not just assembling cars, we are building 60% of the spare parts locally.
Whoa. And what percentage are being bought within, which are going out in export?
90%.
90%?
90%, but we import also other cars that we don't build here. Like said, manufacturing is a top priority, followed personally, directly, and impulsed by His Majesty the King.
How is employment here versus unemployment?
So unemployment, it was around 10% in Morocco, employment rate. Once again, we had the pandemic. It has a strong impact on unemployment. It rose, but the good news is that we are recovering very quickly. In the manufacturing sector, we recovered 100% of the employees lost during the pandemic.
Whoa, good going, huh?
That was the good news.
Imports, exports, what's coming in, what's going out?
So imports, what's coming in, we are not an oil producer, so we import a lot of energy, but we have very good policy in energy transition. We are probably in the top of the world, leaders in the world in energy transition. And some equipment and some semi-products for our industry and some consumer goods.
Okay.
In terms of export, like I said, top one, automotive.
Automotive.
Then you have fertilizers. Then you have food and agricultural products, means also processed food. And then you have garment.
Who are the big trading partners?
Our biggest trading partner is Europe. But let me start a bracket.
Okay.
We are probably one of the only country of the world that is having, at the same time, a free trade agreement with Europe and a free trade agreement with the US. That means being based in Morocco gives you free access to two of the most important markets in the world.
So, if you had a message to potential American investors, what would you say to them?
You have here in Morocco the best cost industrial base in the world. Second, we are working on that within 3-4 years it will be a carbon-free industrial base. This is also, it opens all markets, European, American, and African. So being based here is a potential growth of doubling or tripling your revenues in the future.
So this will be the hub.
This is already the hub.
This is the hub.
This is the hub.
Excellency,
Thank you very much.
thank you so much for the conversation and
Thank
the
you.
education.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Africa's largest port, right after the break. This is America and the World visits the Kingdom of Morocco. Underwriting for This is America and the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., the Republic of Uzbekistan, the Sultanate of Oman, the Kingdom of Morocco, the National Association for Children of Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery, the Forerunner Foundation, the Rotondaro Family Trust, and the Embassy Series, Uniting People Through Musical Diplomacy. Trade has always played a part of the Morocco story, and its port, Tanger-Med, plays a huge role in Morocco's economic success today. Tell me a little bit about where we're standing and what we can see in front of us. This is just what a fantastic view.
Well, we are just right in front of what we call Tanger-Med 1. Tanger-Med 1 is the first port launched by the division of His Majesty the King, who launched this project back in 2003, and this project opened in 2007. So we built this in 4 years, and we managed to attract some of the big players in the maritime industry, or logistical industry, to come and make this a success with us. So what you see in front of you is the port. You can see ships moving. You can see South Spain there. You can see Tarifa. You can see Gibraltar. And we are in the Strait of Gibraltar. That's what we call the Strait of Gibraltar. This is the nearest point between Africa and Europe.
Wow.
You can't be nearer than that.
About how far away are we?
That's 10 miles.
10 miles?
Yeah.
Whoa!
14 kilometers. That's 10 miles. That's the nearest point. And that's probably one of the things that makes success of this project, because ships, when they come from a long way, imagine they come from Asia or they come from the United States, they don't have to deviate themselves a long way to get to the port. They're just on their route. They get into the port in half an hour, and once they want to leave it, they're back again in half an hour back on their route. And that's the geographical situation is a big argument to make this port a success.
I gather from my reading that, of course, trade has always been huge for Morocco, huh?
Trade has always been important for Morocco, for the local consumption of Morocco, but what this port is doing is something even bigger. This port is still serving Morocco, but mainly serving big hubs for goods coming from the world and going back again to the world. If I give you some figures of this port, for example, last year we almost did 6 million containers.
I was going to ask about containers.
That
yes.
came to this port, but the majority of the 6 million containers, they transshipped from here, they transited from here. So they come with big ships from a long way, 20 days sea time or 10 days sea time, and they go down here in the port, and then they are put into smaller ships to go to the last consumer country, for example, which can be West Africa. And Europe as well. So we are serving, this port is also used as a hub for other countries. That's how we managed to reach huge figures. And reaching these kind of figures I just told you now, like for example, the 6 million containers we have done last year in 2020, made this port the #1 port in the Mediterranean Sea compared to all the countries in the Mediterranean Sea, after being #1 in Africa for at least the past 4 years.
So this is a major port, or the major port?
It's the biggest.
Serving Africa, huh?
Serving Africa. It's the biggest port of Africa, but it's also the biggest in the Mediterranean Sea when you compare ports in terms of container traffic. This side, you are 8 days from Egypt, Suez Canal,
Ah, yes.
and this side, you are 10 days from the United States.
Ha ha ha. 10 days.
10 days seaside.
How about how many actual ships might hold that many containers?
What we do in this port, we do about over 10,000 ships per year that come to this port.
Wow.
Within the 10,000, you have about half of them, 5,000, that go and come back to Spain, just like a ferry shuttle.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a smaller one.
ships. These are ferries that go to South Spain. They either take passengers or cars or trucks that will drive through Europe. The remaining 5,000 ships are all commercial ships, like container ships, car carrier ships, bulk ships, and all that. When you ask about container ships, what we receive here are the biggest ships in the world. These ships,
Wow.
they're 400 meters long, and each one of them can carry up to 23,000 containers each. Tanger-Med is not only a port. Tanger-Med is also owner of many areas where we create industry, we attract investors. We are owner of over 2,000 hectares where we have attracted about 1,000 companies to come and produce things in Morocco and then export them.
And what would be the range of the different businesses?
It can go from everything, but the main ones, I would say 3 or 4 ones that are major. You have the automotive sector,
Uh-huh.
very important, which today is much more important than the export of phosphate, for example,
Yes.
in terms of value for Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Automotive sector, you have the textile sector,
Okay.
you have also the aeronautics sector.
Yes, that's big here,
Yeah, it's
isn't it?
becoming very big in Morocco, and plus other sectors that uses the port, which is the agriculture sector, where we export fruits, vegetables, and many things like this, going from Morocco to all around the world and even to the United States.
Wow. What a terrific
Thank you.
story that you tell us. And I've been to, let's say, Singapore
Yes.
and see a container port there.
Yep.
And to imagine what this will be.
Well, we are growing fast enough to get somewhere around what you're saying.
Terrific. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Morocco Now is the slogan promoting investment in Morocco, and its doors are wide open with skilled workers, solid infrastructure, free zones, and access to world markets.
Economy of Morocco has going through massive transformation during the last 20 years. Under the guidance of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI, the 20 last years have seen transformation of Morocco thanks to massive investments in infrastructure, but also in human capital. A lot of decisions and actions have been taken to improve the business environment within Morocco and make it a business-friendly environment.
How do you go about selling Morocco as a place to invest? What are the 2 or 3 main points that you sell?
4 points.
4 points. Okay. So you know.
Yeah, that's what the Morocco Now brand is about, is to tell the distinctive assets we have here in Morocco that answer the global challenges we are facing now, which are challenges of redesigning the value chains. We companies want less dependence on Asia, so they are trying to have regional ecosystems or regional value chains to have a better and more secure and more competitive sourcing. And they need it to be green because constraints are more bigger and bigger on production to be green. So what we offer here in Morocco is a sustainable production. We invested massively in renewable energy and allow decarbonized production here in Morocco. We offer a competitiveness because we invested on the people, the infrastructure, the logistics, the free trade agreements. So we can produce in a competitive manner and have access to a lot of markets without taxes. We are well proven, that's what we said. We have a long history in successful sector development. We have the automotive, we have the aerospace, We have built Tanger-Med. I think you have seen it. We showed how we can achieve and success in big projects, and we are agile. That's what I was saying. Agility is something really important now, and Morocco has it in its DNA. We showed how agile we can be to manage crisis during COVID and give all the requirement needed by our population. And companies, when they invest here, they can see how agile people are to quickly manufacture plants, to quickly develop their skills, to adapt the changing world.
Director General, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The two key areas of surging growth and development in Morocco are automobiles and aeronautics. We visited Park Med, Casablanca. Aerospace in Morocco. Tell me a little bit about it. Very important, huh?
Yes, at first I would like to give you some information about aerospace industry. The aerospace industry in Morocco is a young industry because in 2000 we had only maybe four or five companies in aerospace. 20 years after, we have more than 140 companies in Morocco. We have 6 ecosystems, and our platform is strong, a very high quality and high competitiveness.
So His Majesty the King has made a commitment to the aerospace industry. Is that so?
Exactly. Our development for aerospace grew very fast. 20 years before, we had 4 companies, not much employees. Today, we have more than 20,000 employees and turnover around $2 billion export, because aerospace in Morocco is a big part of export in Morocco. And we have an local integration rate around 38%, instead of 17% in 2014.
Someone said to me the other day that if you're flying on a major airline or a major airplane, that maybe some piece of that plane has been made in Morocco. Is that so?
Yes, of course. You know, in every aircraft of Airbus or Boeing, you have 1 or 2 or 3 mechanical pieces or wiring systems made in Morocco.
Whoa. So I understand that now automotive and aerospace are huge pieces of the economy.
Yeah, the rate of the aerospace export in Morocco is around 5%.
5%?
Yes.
So we have here about 100 businesses?
Yes, we have maybe 100 here, and we have some companies in Tanger.
In Tanger as well.
And Mid-Park is a zone dedicated to aerospace.
You are the president at this time of the Federation. What is the commitment of the aerospace industry here in Morocco to the whole business of climate change?
So we work hardly for the green aviation. So decarbonization of our process in the industrial process, to work for the green aircraft, because Airbus work very hard on to be an aircraft with 0 emission of carbon in 35. Maybe I think it will be ready in 2050. So we have to adapt our process for engineering, for industrial process, to be a part of this area.
Travel is now ramping up. The airports are jammed. What do you have as a dream or a message?
At first, they are welcome in Morocco.
Aha!
It's the moment to come in Morocco for business, because to invest in aerospace in Morocco, because we have a clear destination for the aerospace business. we need some development, as I said before, for engineering, for research and development, for the green aviation. So we have many projects to study with them if they come.
So you're encouraging investment here in Morocco.
Yes, of course, of course.
Thank you so much for our conversation.
You're welcome, Dennis.
Excellent.
You're welcome.
Every country can benefit from Morocco's example, setting up a national commission to learn about the country's expectations, concerns, and problems. And everyone was represented at the table. Tell the folks back in the United States about the Special Commission for Development.
This commission was launched on 2 years ago by His Majesty the King Mohammed VI, and I think it was a visionary approach and a really proactive approach since it was just before the pandemic. And maybe all around the world, everyone now think that there is need for a new model. The diagnostic at that time was that the growth level was not so high, even if Morocco has very large potential, and was that there are a lot of inequalities, social or territorial inequalities, and we have to find the right way how to correct such inequalities and how to move forward with the world which is changing with new challenges. We started our work with the very large consultation. I mean, consulting very large participation of citizens and main stakeholders, either political, either economic or civil society stakeholders, to make them involved in this process.
So this was a bringing together of many different kinds of voices, huh?
We met with the politicians, parties, political parties.
Political parties?
We met with all economic operators. We met with the administration and with people from administration, and we met a lot with civil society and directly with citizens.
How many people do you think in total were involved in the work of the commission?
Directly involved with meetings with either with the whole commission or with the different members of the commission. Maybe we met with more than 10,000 10,000 people during the whole work.
So you got listening sessions and focus groups.
That is.
And question and answer sessions.
Yes.
You worked together for a period of time. And I gather going in, you wanted to look at the expectations, the concerns, and the problems of the people and of the country as a whole. Am I on track?
Yes.
Okay.
And the solutions.
What was the big headline of the expectations that people had and would like for the country? And what were the challenges that people identified in this wonderful commission?
Big challenges: how to improve education, how to have better healthcare, how to have job opportunities, how to reduce inequality, and how to deal with this problem by creating more growth and more wealth, and how this wealth could be better distributed by reducing inequalities. But these challenges we have to deal with these challenges in a world which is changing. We have so far, after presenting this report, His Majesty the King considers this new development model as as a reference, and the new, after the elections, new government is considering this new development model as a basis for his program.
Moving forward into the future, there is a blueprint, huh?
Yes.
Thank you, Excellency, for our conversation.
Thank you a lot for your invitation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
For information about This is America in the World, visit our website, thisisamerica.net, or our YouTube channel, This is America TV, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen to all of our ambassador interviews on our podcast, The Ambassador Series. It's available on our website and iTunes. Underwriting for This is America in the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., the Republic of Uzbekistan, the Sultanate of Oman, the Kingdom of Morocco, the National Association for Children of Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery, the Forerunner Foundation, the Rotondaro Family Trust, and the Embassy Series, Uniting People Through Musical Diplomacy.